Today we got a special treat. We got Brandon Bornancin, founder of Seamless.ai, incredible prospecting tool that I use, a sales thought leader of the year named by InsideSales.com in 2018. We got the creator of seven-figure sales system and self-made millionaire. What is going on, Brandon?
Hey, David, thanks so much for having me, man. Humbled, honored, and grateful to be here today.
Perfect. So it would be awesome if you could just kind of, just for context for the audience, give like a brief background of where you started, like your say after graduation or whatever, and then now.
Yeah. Real quick, wild story. Came from a very poor family. My dad was selling computers at Macy's. It was called Maycom. Fucking Maycom. So my dad's making $30,000 selling Apple computers in Macy's when they sold computers in Macy's. Um, he worked construction on the weekends. My mom worked at a grocery store and a bank. Both did not have college degrees. One day, a sales executive walks up to my father. My father pitches him, closes him on the Apple computer, and then that sales executive works for a small startup called Computer Associates. He offers my father a $22,000 internship to leave Macy's retail and go sell for him at this small software B2B startup called Computer Associates. My father leaves, talks to my mom, takes the job, and he's in Islandia, New York for the next 10 years of my life, basically. Sunday through Friday, he was in Islandia, New York. We lived in Ohio. He would go back and forth. For the next decade, he went from sales intern to the VP of sales, managing 1,000 people to build the first billion-dollar software company in the world. I saw my family go from super poor to super rich because of sales. My father always told me two things. One, when you're in sales, you have to work your ass off and sell everyone you know every second of every day. Number two, you have to have the lists of every single person that you need to sell to. Because at night, he would spend all of his time building these lists of people that he would need to sell to. And then during the day, he would spend all of his time prospecting, pitching, and closing those people. I only got to see my father twice a week, once to twice a week, every week. Pretty much just Saturday, and then a little bit on Sunday before he had to fly out back to Islandia, New York. So those were the two things that he always told me. Work your ass off in sales, selling, and then don't waste any of your time with non-selling list building. Do that at night and on weekends. I was at his President's Club in Hawaii. So luckily he took me to his President's Club in Hawaii. We fly down, we go to the big conference area, we land, and we go into the big award ceremony. Everyone is dressed to the nine in $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 tuxes and beautiful. The women are beautiful with these beautiful blue dresses and red dresses. I was like 15 I was like super young, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of beautiful people here. They're serving lobster and filet and all this jazz. And my father taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, look around, Brandon. You will not find another room where people are making 6 and 7 figures in sales ever in your life. That's when I had this big epiphany. I'm looking around. I saw hundreds of people. My father's like, that person makes 1.2 million. That person makes 1.6 million. That person makes 800,000. That person makes 700,000. And I sat back and I'm looking around the room and I'm like, okay, my father got rich because of sales. And I'm like, why are all my teachers telling me I need to become an accountant and a lawyer, doctor? Why has no one ever told me in my entire life I need to get into sales to get rich and to make all my dreams a reality? That's when I had the epiphany of like, I'm going to go into sales. So I started studying sales at the age of 15, 16, 17, started picking my dad's brain about it. I went to the first college that had 3 things: the number 1 business school in the state, the number 1 sales school in the country. I got lucky because the college in my state actually had the number 1 sales college. And then number 3, it was the number 1 party school. So I got by Playboy and all that jazz in 2004. So I got to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Number 1 business school, number 1 sales school, number 1 party school nationally. I'm like, done, I'm going there. And then I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what to sell. Like, I want to sell. I'm going to go to the sales school. I got into the sales college. It was called Ralph and Lucy Shea Sales Center, where I got into the business school. I got into the sales school. And then I got to figure out what I got to sell. And I remember every week, every month, every day, me and my friends were all playing online poker. Like we've been playing online poker for years. Everyone at my school was playing online poker. I'm like, well, shit, dude. I was like, I'm making a few $1,000s playing online poker, but like, what if I sign everyone up I know and I sell to everyone I know to join these poker sites? So I cold called. I built a list of all the poker sites, cold called all of them, and I pitched them. I'm like, hey, I've got a massive network of people. I'm going to get them to join your poker site. You're going to pay me $150. Guess what they said, David?
Hell yeah.
No, they said, hell no. They said, who is this kid? And hell no. But luckily, they were cool enough to be like, we're not going to pay you $150. I'm going to pay you $100 per person.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, okay, I could get $100 to get David and everyone else he knows and everyone I know to sign up for Party Poker, Full Time Poker, Poker Stars, you name it. So I'm like, how do I get everyone at my college? Like, I got to find a way. I got to get a list. Remember, my father said the only way he built $1 billion software company was the list. I got to build this list of all the kids at OU so I can email and call them to sign up for the poker sites. So you know, like, well, I don't know if you know, but back in the day, the colleges had these dorm directories
Right.
that listed out all the students in the dorm with their email and their phone number and all that jazz.
Okay.
So I built a crawler that scraped all the people in the dorms. And I learned programming, built this crawler that scraped all the people in the dorms. I built the list, right, of all the people that, and then I mass emailed all the college students at the dorm, sign up for Party Poker. I'm going to give you $50. I'll make $50. It was called Free 50 Now.
Oh,
like, free
okay.
50 now.
So you basically gave them part of your affiliate commission, right?
Yeah, I gave them part of my affiliate commission on my free50now.com, baby. So I got thousands of people from my list that I built using my scraper to sign up, and then I made a few $1,000s. Then I also went knocking dorm room to dorm room, hardcore selling students. Hey, sign up right now. I'm going to give you $50. Let's sign you up. Boom, 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 boom. Done. Free Party Poker, free Full Tilt Poker, free Poker Stars. Boom, 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 boom. So then, like, I'm making $50, $50. Then I got bonuses as I leveled up. Like, once you sign up 10 people, you get a $3,000 bonus. Once you sign up 50 people, you get a 10,000 bonus, 50,000 bonus. Then I took it online and I did a landing page and I did a funnel. I basically created a landing page that's like, hey, if you want free $50 right now to join Party Poker, Full Tilt Poker, Poker Stars, go to the site, boom. I built a $10 million business, 18, 19, 20 years old. First year I did $1 million. Second year I did $3 million. Third year as a junior in college, I did $6 million. And I had everything I ever wanted. You know, I was the richest kid in college. I had I bought like four fucking cars, like an idiot. I had a Mercedes a Mercedes 2-door hardtop convertible that when I was at the light, if you hit a button, it would go down. Before the light turned green. So bad. This is like 2004, dude. Hardtop Mercedes 2-door convertible, fast, like 500 horsepower, whatever. It was crazy. And then I bought another Mercedes, and I bought a motorcycle, and I bought property in Florida, whatever. I was just blowing all my money. I covered every single bar tab those 3 years, wherever we went. So anyways, 2007, my junior year, didn't make online gambling illegal. I launched a second company. I thought text message marketing, flip phones. This was before the iPhone. I thought text message marketing was going to be the future. So I basically get all the people in my network who are really smart, and I'm like, hey, we should build a text message marketing software. It's going to revolutionize the world. We're going to build this text messaging software and sell it to all the B2B companies in the world. Problem was, we built the software. We didn't have the one thing that was needed to sell the software to every company that could use it. David, what do you think that was?
The list, baby.
The fucking list, dude. We needed the list. So literally, we spent 3 years, year in, year out, trying to sell Seamless to all these Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 marketers, Fortune 5000 marketers, all these companies, and we could never build the list of the B2B contacts, figure out the marketers, figure out the accounts that needed to buy this text messaging software. And the next 3 years were the worst years of my life, where I lost millions of dollars. I worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. I lost everything I owned. I went $100,000 in debt. The whole company failed. And I went back and I was like, why did this fail? it failed for two reasons. This was an epiphany I had. Number one, we didn't have the context and the companies that we needed to sell to, the lists of people that could buy our services that needed the text messaging software. Number two, my first company made me so rich, I became so egotistical, where I thought I knew everything. I would not pay for the advice that I needed to build the company. I would not pay for the advice I needed to raise funding. I would not listen to the advisors and entrepreneurs that would tell me, don't worry about getting a massive 10,000 square foot office space. Don't worry about all the PR. You need to work on building this product in your dorm room, and you need to work on selling it to everyone. This is what they kept telling me. But I was so egotistical that I didn't listen to anyone's advice. I didn't pay for anyone's advice. So I didn't have the list. And I didn't know how to build the technology. I didn't know how to sell the technology. I didn't know how to market the technology. All I knew was I was so concerned about what other people thought that I had to get this massive office space because I had this one company that was super successful that everyone on campus and nationally knew about. Brandon Bornancin is a badass entrepreneur. And at the age of 21, I'm like, I have to keep up that image. I have to, I need everyone to know my second company is going to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make billions. And I also only cared about making commission. And when I look back at why that company failed in mobile, it was because of the lists, and it was because I was too egotistical to listen to anyone's advice, and I didn't pay for anyone's advice. And at the end of the tranche, I went $100,000 in debt, bankrupt, and I had to steal food out of my big office. I had this big office space that had other companies in it. Like I remember I got so bad, and this was during the dot-com bust, 2007, 2008. My dad, who built the first $1 billion company, we had so much money in real estate that my family went bankrupt. At the same time, my mom got Alzheimer's. So my family goes bankrupt. My mom gets Alzheimer's. My dad has to become a full-time caregiver. And my company is losing millions, and I'm in $100,000 in debt. My family can't give me a dime. No one's going to buy my fucking software. And the world was crashing in. And I remember just sitting at the office space crying late night on a Friday or Saturday. I'm sitting there, I'm stealing food to eat. And I remember whatever I took out of the shared office fridge, I remember going into the corner, looking the window. It's dark out because it's probably 9, 10, 11, midnight at night in Athens, Ohio, at my office space that's got 30 people, no one was there on a Friday night. And I just remember eating whatever I stole out of the fridge, just bawling, how did I fuck up so bad? I'm such a failure. And that night I went home and I shut down the company, called Jake, my partner. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. We got to shut this down. We're losing. We're not going to make it. We're not going to win. We don't know what we need to do to win. And we have to shut this down and just get out as fast as humanly possible. And I got to figure out how to pay off all this credit card debt. So we shut it down. And I ended up selling the company to a publicly traded company. I had to move to New York, but I didn't make 1/1,000,000th of the money that I lost. So Jake and my other partners, they end up going to IBM Interactive to build products for IBM. Jake calls me. He's like, dude, you should sell these million, 10 million, $20 million websites and digital marketing programs that IBM Interactive has. Get out of New York, where we sold in mobile to. I called it a failure. It's an acqui-hire that made us no money, so I called it a failure. And I was dying to get out of mobile. I spent 3 years building in mobile, and then I got another year at this company in New York that I got to stay with. I'm like, I got to get the hell out of mobile. There's no money in it. And I was studying, why was it such a failure? And I realized the lists, and because I didn't buy or listen to anyone's advice. So then I come back to, I take Jake's advice. IBM Interactive, they loved me. They hired me. They heard about my success with my first company, my second company. They're like, dude, we want you to sell for us. So then when I got hired at IBM, and I sold for IBM and Google the next 8 years, 9 years. And when I was selling for IBM and Google, I'm like, they're the number one thing you need to be successful. The only people that are going to change this world for the better are salespeople, marketers, and entrepreneurs. There's only 3 people that will change this world for the better: salespeople, marketers, recruiters, and entrepreneurs. The only way for those people to be successful is they need to sell their products to people in enough quantities fast enough. The only way to sell their products is through the lists. I'm like, okay, at IBM and Google, I have to buy databases of these lists.
Right.
So I literally interview all these sales databases, ZoomInfo, DiscoverOrg, D&B, Redbooks. Like, they're all out there. Some of them went out of business already, but so I find out like one database costs 300,000, one database costs 500,000, one database costs 200,000, whatever. So I pitched my CEO and founder, hey, Nancy Kramer, I need $1 million to buy these databases. And then I showed her like, hey, on LinkedIn, you've got 4 million marketers that we need to sell to in our ideal industries. There's literally 4 million marketers.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them can afford our services, but I was just like, hey, if you look, all the digital marketers and all the marketers, there's 4 million, and all these databases, they got it, whatever. That's what I'm told. So let's buy them. So we cut the check to the 3 different databases. We get access to it and we log in. We log into the databases. This is 2008, 2009. We log in. There's 4,000 marketers. I'm like, what the fuck? 4,000? Like, I'm missing 4 million. Like the total addressable market is 4 million. The databases have 4,000. I sit back and I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to get fired. You cannot write a check for $1 million because like they purposely, these sales databases, they purposely tell you, like, they show you one little page.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we got everyone you need. And then they hide it. And then they're like, it's going to cost you 100,000. It's going to cost you 300,000. It's going to, like, they're slimy, sneaky salesmen. And like, I just got tricked because I was young in my sales career. So we write the check, we get access to the databases. I log in and I feel like I got scammed. I'm like, 4,000, 4 million. What the hell? I'm missing everyone we need to sell to. So I'm like, I am not going back to that time in Athens, Ohio, to where I was stealing food out of the fridge, 100K in debt, and I wanted to kill myself. I will never go back to that time. So I'm like, I sat there all weekend with Jake and my partners, and I'm like, dude, how do we fix this problem? I was like, well, Google, you've got a search engine. You can type in anything, Google search, boom, all the results. IBM, you could ask IBM Watson any question in the world, and in real time, IBM will give you the answers to the question using AI. I was like, I know what we need to do. One, we need to build a search engine where you type in any title, any company, and in real time, it gives you all the contacts with the current title working at the current company. Because all these outdated sales databases, they were missing 95% of the people that you need to sell to because they have humans that manually research on the web, put something in. Well, the problem with that is it doesn't scale. You've got 1 out of 100 people at every company that you need in the database, and the emails and phone numbers are wrong. So I was like, we're going to build a real-time search engine, B2B sales search engine. Anything that you search for in real time, we search the entire digital web, billion social profiles, billion websites everywhere. We find everyone that you need to sell to. And then we're going to use AI like IBM Watson, and we will research, validate, and verify perfect email, cell phones, and insights for everyone in the world using this proprietary 10-step AI engine that me and Austin and Jake and our partners built, Rick and Curtis. We figured out, like, okay, you could send a virtual email to the email server. You could search a billion social profiles. You could search a billion websites. You could search the news. And this 10-step AI engine will research all this data in real time instantly, figure out the perfect emails and cell phones. So now you've got everyone that you need to sell to, and you've got the contact information for everyone you sell to. Boom. There's the list. So we end up, it took years to build this prototype. We built this prototype, and I spent 3.5 years crushing it at IBM. And then I sell for Google. And Google was really where, like, everyone in the world needs Google ads.
Yeah.
And that's why I had the idea for Seamless when I was selling for IBM. Like, there needs to be like a way to automate this. And then when I was selling for Google, I'm like, okay, we need to really figure out a way to find every account that should spend every amount of money on ads. And then we need to find all the marketers at those companies. And we got to build this search engine and AI engine. And then we built it in a year, this prototype. And I used it. And I went from making $100,000 in sales to making over $1.2 million. And the big epiphany moment. So I was selling for Google and Seamless. I was using the Seamless prototype, and my calendar was flooded with 7 to 10 appointments a day for high ticket sales. Mm-hmm. We're talking like deals where I make $10,000 in commission to $100,000 in commission.
Yeah.
Big ticket deals. You know, where these advertisers are spending millions of dollars. Seamless automated all of my endless manual list building, all my endless manual prospecting, all my endless CRM data entry, to where my calendar was booked 7 to 10 demos day after day, day after day. I remember the first time I made over 6 figures in sales in 1 month with 1 commission check before I got paid my salary. So I'm traveling for a poker tournament. You know, I never took off work, but the one weekend I took off work, me and a bunch of buddies, we fly to Vegas to play in the poker tournament because we're still avid poker players. And, you know, we play Wednesday, we play Thursday, we go out Thursday. I'm a little hungover. Friday morning, I'm at the Cosmopolitan, which, you know, it's got the beautiful chandeliers and everything all over, right? And I'm at the Cosmopolitan. We're hungover. I'm laying in bed, and I get a call from my accountant. It's 9 a.m. Pacific, right, or Mountain, whatever Vegas is on. And then it's like 12 p.m. Eastern, right? And I'm like barely awake. I see the call coming from my accountant. The worst thing that you want to get in as a top salesperson is a call from your accountant that handles your commission checks. David, guess what the only thing accountants call about to salespeople regarding commissions?
Bounce checks or something? I don't know.
Like basically they're going to tell you like there's a problem with paying out your commission.
Yeah.
We're cutting your commission. We're not paying your commission.
Yeah.
That's the only time your accountant calls you as a salesperson. It's always bad news. I'm like, damn it, I'm at Vegas. I'm in this poker tournament. I need a lot of money to keep playing in this poker tournament. I need the money that you owe me for the commission today. What's going on? So I answer the phone. Hey, Chris, what's up? She's like, hey, Brandon, hope you're doing well. I know you're on PTO, but I had to give you a call. I'm like, okay, Chris, sure. Shoot, what's going on? And I'm laying in bed, right? I'm laying in bed, and she's like, we have a problem with your commission. And I'm sitting there with the phone, and I'm like, yeah, okay. What's the problem? And my buddy like is still passed out, Steve, to the right of me. He looks over and he's like, what's up, man? Why are you on the phone? Blah, blah. I'm like, don't worry about it. I gotta handle this call. I'm like, sure, Chris, what's the problem? Steve like rolls over. Chris is like, yeah, we have a problem with your commission. She's like, if I pay you out $137,000 this month, right now, today, you're going to get taxed the most amount of money ever. You'll lose the most amount in your commission check. She's like, I recommend we pay out your commission over 3 to 5 months. And I'm like, still daisy, tired, exhausted. I'm like, what? I was like, wait, Chris, what do you mean? She's like, if I pay you $137,000 for this month's commission check today, you're going to get taxed at like 50 or 55%, like some crazy outrageous number.
Yeah.
She's like, I recommend we pay it out over the course of the 3 years. I'm sorry, over the course of 3 months, 90 days to 120 days to 150 days, the next 3 to 5 months. And I'm like, you mean $13,000, right? I was like, 13,000 or 3,000, right? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, no. She's like, you closed this deal. You closed this deal. You closed this deal. You closed this deal. This deal was 10 grand. This deal was 25 grand in commissions. This deal was 10 grand in commissions. This deal was 75 grand in commissions. This deal was 5 grand in commissions. And I'm like, because when your calendar's flooded in back-to-back demos and pitches, and like, you're so conditioned to just like pitch, follow up, close, pitch, follow up, close, because your calendar's flooded.
Yeah.
Like you don't have time to think about or count like how much money you're making. You're just like, boom, 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 boom. And I sat back, and that's when I it was only the second time in my life the first time in my life I broke down crying when I lost everything and I was broke and I was stealing food out of the fridge. Second time I broke down crying was like, not broke down crying, like I had some tears, was when she called and she's like, I owe you $137,000 in commissions and I have to pay them out. And that was before my salary. My 6-figure salary. And, I was like, that was the first time I'm like, wow, I'm just like some average guy that just wanted to sell a lot, that wanted to change the world, sell these Google ads to the marketers because I knew that it would fundamentally change their life for the better. And because of the Seamless, this prototype, my secret weapon, it helped me automate all of this endless list building, all this endless CRM data entry, all of this endless manual research, appointment setting work, prospecting work, and automated it all on autopilot. Because of that, I was able to flood my calendar. That was the epiphany I had, because my whole plan was to keep Seamless this secret. I was like, I'm not sharing this with any of my colleagues. I'm not sharing this with anyone I know. This is my secret weapon to make millions of dollars in sales. I always thought that about Seamless. And then like when I was at the Cosmopolitan, I got the call about making over $137,000. I knew that was when I became a millionaire in sales, right? Made over 1.2 million. That first 6-figure commission check was the start of that. And that was the time where like after I got off the call with Chris, I had the big epiphany and I was like, you know what? Seamless will no longer be a secret. I thought that I was broken and I would never be successful in sales or in entrepreneurship or in marketing ever again. How many people are out there feel like they will never be successful in sales, in marketing, in entrepreneurship? And I truly believe that you are just one list away from the life you want, the marriage you want, the family you want, the fame you want, the business you want, the new customers you want. Everything in life that you want is just one list away. And Seamless is the only way to find, build, contact, and acquire that list. And instead of keeping it my secret, I immediately hung up the phone. I called my fiance, Danielle, who's now the COO of Seamless. And I said, Danielle, something amazing has happened. One, we're doing pretty well. Chris just called me and they owe me $137,000 in commission. But two, I've got something big to tell you. We're going to use every single dollar we make. We're going all in on building Seamless so that every single person in the world can feel and believe and do what we just did using this platform. And she's like, she didn't know what to say because like this is my, she kind of knew like, oh shit, this is going to be Brandon's third company because she was with me during the poker thing. Like we dated since college. So it was like Danielle was with me during the poker thing. She was with me during InMobile where shit got bad. She used to buy food and send it to me because like I had millions and then I lost it all running this company for 3 years to where like my family went broke. My mom got Alzheimer's. My family didn't have any money. They were bankrupt. I was running out of money. I was bankrupt. So like I was stealing food. She was sending me food. I was trying to build this company to be successful, whatever. And then like, boom, we're here on this epiphany where I'm selling for IBM and Google. And we automated it using Seamless and we're changing the world. I told her, I was like, we need every salesperson, marketer, entrepreneur in the world to use this platform and we're going to make it happen. She's like, I support it. Whatever you want to do, I'm all in on. So that weekend, gambled some more, partied some more, and just kept reflecting on how my life was changed forever because it's Seamless and because I was open to taking advice and investing in my success and investing in training. It was like the list, the scripts, the training. The number one thing was the list. And it's like, okay, you know? So then I quit my job, took all the cash, went all in on Seamless. First year, we did over 7 figures in sales. Second year, you know, $1 million a month. And now we're helping over 50,000 sales teams, marketers, and entrepreneurs build that one list that makes their family, their life, their marriage, their dreams a reality. And we believe that the only people on this world that are going to change this world for the better are salespeople, marketers, and entrepreneurs. But the only way for them to do that is to find the people that they need to sell their products to. My father built $1 billion software company because he had the list and he could sell that software to all the companies that needed it. My first company, free50now.com. The affiliate marketing company, I built the scraper that built the list of all the college students. I then mass emailed all those college students and I knocked dorm room to dorm room, selling door to door. I had the list. My second company failed in mobile because I didn't have the list and I was successful at IBM and Google. Barely successful at IBM because I got scammed with all those outdated sales databases and cutting $1 million check, worried I was going to lose my job. And then I ended up taking a job at Google, selling for Google's top search agency. And then when I was selling for Google, I built that Seamless prototype, automated all the bullshit that I had to deal with the sales databases. I was being held hostage by the sales databases. I said, you know, we're not spending any money on the sales databases. We're going to build our own platform, our own search engine, an AI engine that finds everyone's emails and cell phones. And that is where we're at today.
Dude, you really ran with that question. That was crazy. What a story.
Yeah, you know, I figured I could give like the 1 minute thing or like just really share the experience because the experience is so
yeah, no, you went
fruitful.
deep. That was awesome.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think I never told anyone about my mom having Alzheimer's, by the way. This is the first time I shared that story. It's the first time I shared the story about my father being like bankrupt. I never talk about like how I was running this company and literally during the financial crisis of 2000, 2007, 2008, I'm losing everything. My family loses everything. My mom gets Alzheimer's. My dad has loses all of his money. He has to become a full-time caregiver while figuring out how to get it out of financial bankruptcy. I'm basically bankrupt and $100,000 in debt. The world is over. I'm totally fucked. I just went from rags to riches with my dad building the first billion-dollar company. Then I get rich myself personally by building my own company, and then I lose it all with my second company. And I literally thought life was over. And why I like sharing that story is because like 10 years ago, literally 2020 in 2010, I thought life was over.
Yeah.
Like I almost
crazy.
wanted to kill myself because I thought it was all over. And it just goes to show you with the list, with the belief, with the training, with scripts, like what you could do to change your life. Now I run a company that's valued at almost $100 million, that's positively impacting 50 to 75 to 100,000 sales teams, marketers, and entrepreneurs. And like I say it and I share that because if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great message. All right. So I did have a list of other questions.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start. All right. So much to unpack. I have like some notes kind of.
Oh yeah, it was a lot.
First things first. So I saw on your LinkedIn you went to Stanford for tech entrepreneurship. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I went to OU for my undergrad and I
Okay.
got my MBA at OU. So while I was selling for IBM and Google, I got my MBA at OU.
Okay.
And then I had the idea for Seamless when I was selling for IBM. And during my MBA class at OU, I actually worked on the concept.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know much about technology entrepreneurship. So I joined Stanford's remote technology entrepreneurship certificate program. And they drill into you like minimum viable product, lean, lean business building and
Yeah.
feature building and product road mapping and wireframing and designing. So it wasn't like I got my MBA or like anything like massive. It was just like a certificate tech entrepreneurship program taught by some of the most brilliant people in the world. So I don't want to underplay its importance. That class was more important than my MBA.
Yeah.
And I paid 30 grand for my MBA and I paid like thousands of dollars for the tech entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. So you having went to school for, like finance and you knew you wanted to be a salesperson, you knew you potentially wanted to be an entrepreneur. You went to Stanford for tech entrepreneurship.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I saw my father and I saw how broke we were and then how we got super rich because he became a salesperson. So like in college, I was the president of CEO, the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, my freshman year.
Yeah.
So like I always knew I had to become a salesperson. I did not know anything about becoming an entrepreneur, but I wanted to start and build companies. So I became the president of CEO of the organization in college. Yeah.
So having had that experience and also having had the experience of building up and seeing businesses succeed and fail, I feel like there's a lot of people kind of like shitting on going to college for entrepreneurship. Do you think that your experience helped you in your entrepreneurial journey?
If I didn't go to college, I'd never start the gambling company.
Okay.
If I never go to college, I don't start the second company in mobile and lose everything I own. And that company teaches me that the one reason why I failed was because I didn't have the right lists, which then 10 years later, I don't realize the epiphany, right? Where like my company failed, my second company failed because I didn't have the lists. Then I go sell for IBM and Google and I know I need the lists. Then I pay all these outdated sales databases $1 million. I get scammed and they don't have the list. And then I don't build Seamless as my own secret weapon. And then I don't sell $100 million and become a self-made millionaire and then launch now a company that is worth $100 million, possibly impacting 50,000 to 100,000 people. I'm grateful for everything I've done in my life. Yeah. Like good and bad. I like college was a big part of that. My MBA was a big part of that. Like every part of what I've done is a big part of it. I think people say like school is not important. Like whatever you don't do, you're going to say it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like if I don't run a marathon, I'm going to say that like running a marathon is a waste of time, right? Like, but the people that run marathons and then that have built the habits, the training, the eating regimen to do it are going to say it's life-changing, right? So it's easy for people that don't do things to tell you that you shouldn't do them.
Yeah.
You,
Okay.
like
I
Mark
see what you're
Cuban, he
saying.
went to college. He started his first company. Then he started his second company, and now he's a billionaire.
Right.
So I would just say do your path, figure out the path that's best for you. And I'm grateful for everything. I don't look at anything that I've done in my life as a waste of time. I look at what can I learn from everything that happens to me anytime, any place, anywhere, so that I
Gotcha.
could build a company that makes a billion-person impact.
Brilliant. So, okay, so I just kind of started getting into LinkedIn and getting a lot more active on LinkedIn. And I feel like I see you post and like you're active there every single day. So
Yes.
what role has, like, I know you said the list is most important thing and that kind of thing, but what role has content played in your business and your entrepreneurial journey in general?
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that this guy named Grant Cardone tried to recruit me for $500,000 to run his TV network. So I was getting ready to leave selling for Google to start full-time at Seamless.ai. And Grant knew about my success selling for Google just through his network. He's like, there's this guy that's making a ton of money that did $100 million in sales. He's all over the place. And, you know, we got connected. And I flew out to Miami to meet with them. And they're like, hey, want you to run GCTV. We're going to launch this TV network. This was before they had like all the shows and all the content
Yeah.
in 2014, 2015.
Uh-huh.
And Grant's like, dude, you're the sales guy. You know everything about ads. You know everything about media. You need to be the guy that runs this company. And Jared's their VP of sales. And Jared's like, dude, you're the guy. Grant's like, you're the guy. Sherry's like, you're the guy. And I'm like, guys, like, I'm about to leave just to build Seamless.ai. Like, I loved it. They're like, hey, we'll pay you $100,000. You'll probably make 500,000 your first year, 1 million your second year. And I looked at it as a great opportunity because I could learn from, like, I knew eventually I wanted to go full-time on Seamless to positively impact the world. And Grant was there, like, pitching me to take this job. I ended up turning it down, and he became a customer of Seamless, one of my first customers of Seamless.
That's crazy.
But when I was there, they were filming everything he did. I felt so awkward because I'm still employed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing Grant on a Monday, like when I should be at work, and I took off a day for vacation time.
Yeah.
They're filming everything. And in 2014, I was never on camera. 2015, I was never on camera. So when I was meeting with them, there's two camera guys everywhere documenting everything. I'm like, dude, like, this makes me feel uncomfortable. I can't be on camera saying anything. My boss is going to fire me. And they're like, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's Grant, he's a genius in marketing and content. And they offered me the job. I turned it down. Grant becomes a big customer because I tell him, like, look, I can't do it. I've got to go full-time on launching Seamless.
Right.
Like, what would you do if you were me? At 31 or whatever, he launched his first company. It was the same time I was launching Seamless. I'm like, I got to do what you would do, what any entrepreneur would do. I can't go sell for you and then build a company. So that night I go home and I'm like, man, like, what was that guy doing with all the content? I'm like, that was the content epiphany I had. I was like, the guy's everywhere. He's driving a ton of business. And this was before he was famous. Like, back then, this was before, basically no one knew who this guy was.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew he was a big sales author trainer. He knew how much I made selling in media, and he wanted me to build his own media empire. And I followed him, and I read some of his books, and they were impactful on me. Just like I read every sales author's books, like, while I was selling. So they all had big impacts on me. And, that's when I had the epiphany of, like, I landed, and that weekend I shot my first video, and it was shit. It was so bad. Go to my YouTube video, and I still don't have any followers on YouTube, by the way. I'm trying to change that kind of. I went all in on LinkedIn. But I made my first video, and it took me like 8 hours to make.
Yeah.
My first video. I needed the lighting to be perfect. I needed the script to be perfect. I
Yeah.
analyzed how I looked, what I said. I kept deleting the video, recording the video, deleting the video. It took like 3 days to record my first video, and then I throw it up, and 30 people watch it. like 30 views, 17
Yep,
views.
yep, yep, yep.
If you go to my YouTube channel and you sort oldest to newest, you will see how bad I am. I'm shit. But guess
Yeah.
what? I made a commitment, and I'm like, I'm going to do this for a year, a decade, not a year, a decade. Everything I do, I'm like, I'm going to take a decade to do. I'm going to be committed to doing it for 1 decade. That's 10 years. Tony Robbins coached me that everyone overestimates what they can do in a year, and they always underestimate what they could do in a decade. They always overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they always underestimate what they can accomplish if they took 10 years all in commitment to doing it. So that resonated with me when I was at his event, and like I was right by him and he was coaching, whatever. Like, I'm like, okay, everything I do, I'm doing a decade. So that day, like when I left Grant, that weekend I shot my first video, I'm like, I have no idea where this is going to go or how it's going to be, but I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to shoot a ton of content. I'm just going to share what I know. I'm going to share my expertise. And if it could help just one person in the world, it's worth it, regardless of how many haters, trolls, bastards come after me and try to tear me down.
Mm-hmm.
And like, luckily at a very young age, I built, like, you can't start companies. You can't sell very successfully if you're so worried about what people think. At a very young age, I just never cared about what people thought of me. Like, I always just wanted to help people.
Was that a skill that you had to acquire?
Yeah,
or was it just natural?
because my first company, my first 2 companies, all I cared about was myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like the poker company, all I wanted to do was get rich and impress girls. Like, and be rich to impress girls. Second company, same thing. In mobile, I wanted to be the richest entrepreneur in the world and become a billionaire so that I get rich and I have everything that I want. And then I realized, like, when I was selling for IBM and Google, after I went broke, bankrupt, lost everything, was stealing for food, like, who gives a shit what car I have, what house I have, what I have? It's about what you could do for other people. And that's when I became very purpose-driven, selling for IBM and Google. I literally felt like if the marketer, the B2B company that was worth $1 billion didn't go with my marketing solution, that was $1, $10, $30 million, that the company would go out of business. They would lose their jobs. They would be on the streets. They may get divorced, because I was so sold on, I have to get this product into the hands of these marketers and these companies because it is truly what they need to be successful. And Jay Abraham, a famous marketer, says, if you know your products and services can help other people, you have a moral obligation to do whatever it takes to get those products into the hands of those customers, because you know that it will fundamentally change their life for the better. So at a very young age, like when I was selling for IBM and Google at the age of like 22, 23, my mind shifted from, I was more like 24, 25, I think. It shifted from worrying about my commission check to helping people like David maximize their sales success. And every year thereafter, I just kept doubling my income. Like, I don't care about what I make. Like, I'm worth $100 million. I don't care. Like, I live in a $250,000 townhome. I drive a $30,000 Mercedes. I could buy and have anything I want. Why do I work 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week? Why do I wear a $30 vest, a $20 dress shirt? Why do I not care what I wear, what I have? The only reason why I'm obsessed with making money and helping other people make money is because the more money that we make, the more impact we can have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know by building a company that's worth $100 million, we can make more money to then invest in delivering more value and make a bigger impact on the people. The only people that are going to change this world for the better are salespeople, marketers, and entrepreneurs. I need to build everything I can in the world's best sales leads platform, the list building platform that books appointments on autopilot for you. I need to build everything that we can into the platform to help you be successful.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of money. I need to write all the books to help you be successful. I need to write all the courses and record all the courses that maximizes your sales success on everything that we learned from making $0 to $100 million in sales. I know the more money that we make by helping you make as much money as humanly possible and getting you to the 6-figure and 7-figure club that we have, I need to do that because we need to make a bigger impact. The more money we have, the more impact we can make.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned how you think, like, was it sales, marketers, entrepreneurs are going to change the world for the better?
The
What
only
is
people that can change this world for the better are salespeople, marketers, and entrepreneurs.
what is one what is like one or two stereotypes that you think people believe that you wish you could just get rid of around
Man,
those people, sales people, marketers, and entrepreneurs?
salespeople, like people saying like, oh, they're salesy, they're aggressive, they're slimy. That's bullshit. If you know, like, again, my mom died from Alzheimer's, okay? My family went through bankruptcy. My mom died from Alzheimer's. My dad was a full-time caregiver for my mom for almost a decade, from 2007 to 2017 or something, till my mom died. Like, my mom was gone by the time I was leaving college, you know? Um, if I had a pill that cured Alzheimer's, if all you had to do is take the pill that cured Alzheimer's, I have a moral obligation to sell you and do whatever I humanly can to get you to understand that this pill cures Alzheimer's. And if I had the pill, I would do whatever it can to take that pill, get my dad to give it to my mom as fast as humanly possible. I have a moral obligation. Like, that's a very extreme example, right? But if you know that you have a product or service that will improve someone's life for the better, you have to do whatever it takes. You have a moral obligation to get them on that product, that service that you have.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and I think like people will try to say slimy, salesy, spammy, aggressive. Like, no, like I've been called aggressive before. I'm okay with that. I've been called too loud, too out there, too egotistical, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't think egotistical anymore, thank God. But like, I'm out there and I'm aggressive, and it's because I have a moral obligation to maximize your success. And I know our products or services are the only way to do that.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's awesome. All right. So, whoops, I don't know what I just pressed here.
No, you're good.
Cool. So, all right. I did also notice that you had like pictures and videos and stuff with like all these people at the top, like Gary Vee, Tom Bilyeu. I saw Jordan Belfort. So how did you kind of work up the ladder and put yourself in position to get access to those people?
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy. Like, I'm not bullshitting you guys when I say this stuff. You are one list away from the life you want, the marriage you want, the family you want, the fame you want, the people you want, the business partners you want, the VC funding you want. Everything in this life I have gotten because I built the list, and then I contacted and sold to the list, and I marketed to the list. I raised millions of venture capital funding because I built the list using Seamless.ai, and then I prospected using omni-channel prospecting, calling, emailing, social selling to that list. I pitched over 337 venture capitalists, raised millions in funding. Now Guy Kawasaki is an investor. Now Amazon's an investor. Now, Sergey Brin and his wife are investors. Like the founders of Google. These things happen because you build the list, you sell to the list, and you go make it happen. You market to the list. The reason why I was able to get in touch with Gary Vee, with Jordan Belfort, with Grant Cardone, with Tom Bilyeu, with Ryan Serhan, with there's hundreds of Anthony Iannarino, Keith Rose, and all these experts. Aaron Ross, Godfather, Predictable Revenue, Jason Lemkin, SaaStr expert. Every single person that I've ever met, I've used Seamless to research their contact information, and then I go and I sell using the 7-figure sales system, the system that we built. I prospect those people, and I try to maximize their value. Like, it's all about delivering value and impact for the person that you're going after. Like, what can I do for them to make them more successful? And then get them to meet with me, right?
Yeah. So it sounds like, I guess that leads into my next question is, you have the list, you know who you're going to target. What's that first step? Are you, I'm assuming you're not immediately asking them like, hey, do you want to be an investor? I'm assuming you're, like you said, you kind of add value. So what's one or two really good ways to do that?
You have to pitch the value, like let's just say it's Ryan Serhan. Like, Ryan Serhan just launched a training university. who just launched Sell It Like Sirhan, his book, and he's the number one broker out of 86,000 brokers in New York who sold over $1 billion in real estate. There's no way to easily get access to Ryan Sirhan to meet with him to interview him. Like typically it takes people years to lock in that interview. It took me 1 day, built the list, and I prospected him with the Seamless list. And I'm like, hey, Ryan, look, I love the show. I literally religiously watch $1 Million Listing. I watch your vlog. I love everything you write, everything you do, everything you teach. I've read your book. I'm a huge fan. I think everyone in B2B needs to hear your sales secrets. Like, you are a sales genius that has sold over $1 billion in sales in the number one largest, most expensive, most crowded real estate market in the world. He's number one out of 86,000 realtors. I'm like, I want to interview you for the book and the podcast. And I want to get your message, your book, your course that you just launched like a week ago out to the audience. Let's share it with the world.
Yeah.
And because I'm so focused on helping him accomplish his goals, his dreams, make his vision a reality, the life he wants, the marriage he wants, the family he wants, the products that he wants to sell, I'm obsessed with him making that happen. He says yes. Yeah, let's do it. Boom. Next week, I'm out on a plane, meeting him, interviewing him for the book, the podcast, everything.
Nice.
So it's all about your like, you got to build the list, and then your message, your pitch has to be all about them.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about you or your product. No one cares about my commission check. No one cares about what I make, that Seamless is valued at $100 million. No one cares about that stuff. The only thing that people care about is what are you going to do for them?
Yeah. What can...
Well,
yeah,
WIIFM. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Like I've got a blog post and video training on this. WIIFM. What is in it for me? What's in it for me? WIIFM. It's the only thing people care about. No one gives a shit about you or what you do or what you sell. They only care about what are you going to do for them.
Nice. So do you have, throughout like all of your sales experience, do you have maybe like one or two tactics or like one-liners where when you pull it off, you're like, oh my God, I am a sales ninja, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I put all of these one-liners into the 15 books we've got. So, and right now all of our books are like, you know, this stuff that we teach in our masterminds, this stuff goes for like $25,000 for our mastermind. And then our inner circle, we charge $100,000. So, you know, I basically documented over the course of a decade, everything that I say, everything I do. I've recorded everything and transcribed it and then rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. We put in 15 books, and those 15 books we now charge $100 a book for. I'm about to give them away for free just because I want to make a bigger impact. I'm like, dude, instead of 1 out of every 100 salespeople being able to afford this book, or 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 10, I'm going to give it away for free for $7.97. Like, you pay for the shipping. I'm going to ship you all my books. You probably even buy the full box set. I'll make it for free where you just pay the shipping. And the reason why I want to do that is because, like, I know, like, if I help you sell more, maybe one day you'll want to work with me. Maybe one day you'll want to be in my inner circle. Maybe one day you'll want to buy my software.
Yeah.
So my recommendation would be, all of our books are on Amazon. Like, jump on Amazon, put in Brandon Bornancin. You can get all of the scripts for anything and everything that we do. Also, I give them away for free at Seamless.ai. Join Seamless.ai. We give a bunch of these scripts, strategies, and training away for free in the platform. You could join for free, and then you get unlimited sales leads for like $300 a month, $100 a month, whatever. So jump into the platform, join for free. You'll get leads for free, and then you'll also get all of our training for free on that.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So probably wrap up, probably do 1 more 2 questions. So I feel like a lot of, like, most companies have a variety of traffic coming in. There's like social, organic, social ads, SEO, email marketing, cold email, whatever. But I feel like usually people have 1 or 2, or like affiliate traffic, whatever. Usually people have 1 or 2 where they're like, that is the one that's going to take us to the next level, where we're going to rely really heavily on those 1 or 2. Are there any traffic sources that are like that for you?
So I'm going to throw this out there. There's no silver bullet. It's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one channel that's going to change the trajectory of the company. It's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
In sales and in marketing, you need to leverage an omni-channel approach. This is what I pitched at Google. This is what I pitched at IBM. This is what we use at Seamless. You need to leverage every sales channel, and you need to leverage every marketing channel. It's not, do I do content or do I do Facebook ads? It's yes and yes and yes and yes. Yes, I do Facebook ads. Yes, I do content. Yes, I do LinkedIn Live. Yes, I do LinkedIn messaging. Yes, I do cold calling. Yes, I do cold emailing. Yes, I do social selling. Yes, I do LinkedIn ads. Yes, I do Google ads. Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. Don't let anyone give you any bullshit about this is the only channel you need to use. It's a lie.
Yeah.
They're lying. I sold for the top 2 companies in the world.
Yeah. So how do you, like specifically,
how do you leverage all of them?
Well, I was going to say specifically for because I'm kind of in like the video content world. So what do you do for content to make a lot of content and not have it take you like a bunch of time throughout your day?
Dude, once you figure this out, please let me know. It's hard, right? My number one hack is I document everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to create a reality TV show of I want to call it 0 to 100, and basically document everything we do to go from $0 to $100 million in sales.
Yeah,
and document every step of the way.
Nice.
Because if I do that, one, we've got content for forever. 2, I want to have that video so I can look back on my life and remember what the hell I did 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, because like it's all a blur. I don't remember any of it. And 3, so we could share the secrets that we learn in everything we do. Like I'm big on documenting and sharing what you do every day. Like I never think about, oh, I have to come up with this new strategy to create a new blog post. I just document what we do every day, and then we share it with the world. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is what I learned today doing this. This is what I learned today doing this. This is what I learned today doing this. Gotcha. Successes, failures, everything in between. I just document and share what we do and what we learn, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then that provides us our content calendar. And then some shit I just literally record on my iPhone and just post on LinkedIn. Other stuff is more highly produced with my 2 video guys. Most of it is fast iPhone boom live.
Right.
It's less strategic.
Well, hey, listen, you're the sales guy here. I'm about to pitch you. I got this new thing, Content Sponge, coming out, baby. And I'm going to do, so I really want to take people who want to make content, but don't want to spend a ton of time each day and repurpose it and things like that. But we can chat about that later.
It's really hard to do.
It's hard to do, but I got it. I perfected it. Let's go.
I love it, dude. David's got the system.
Yeah, I'm actually rolling it out now, so it probably will be live by the time I roll out this episode. All right, one last question. Awesome. If you could be a superhero, what would you be? Who would you be?
My superhero would be Tony Robbins.
Okay. Why?
A lot of people would pick like some type of superhero, right? Like that's in a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But like my superhero would be Tony Robbins, because that guy has positively impacted the lives of millions and millions and millions of people. Mm-hmm. And that's my calling. Like over the years, like that's just what I figured out I need to do. Yeah. And like I want to just positively impact the world. I want people to lose all of their limiting beliefs, like the belief of doubt, the belief of insecurity, the belief of uncertainty, the belief that I can't do this. I don't have the right training, skills, college, education, finances, everything. Like they think that they've got the lack of resources, and I want people to believe in themselves that, it's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness. It's the lack of hard work. It's the lack of dedication. Like you've got all the resources in the world. You just need to go out there and find it and then learn it and then apply it and make it happen. Like you're just one list away from the life, the marriage, the family you want. If you've got the list, then you could research how to contact, sell, market to that list to make anything in your life a reality.
Yeah.
and I'm just on a mission to make that happen. So,
Boom.
Tony Robbins is a big motivator, inspirer to me, only because, like, not because of what he pitches, but because he just like he taps the potential of people, and I want to tap the potential of the world.
Nice. Cool. So, right before we sign off here, where can people find more content and information about you, like your social platforms, whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a daily newsletter. Jump on Seamless.ai, join for free. You'll get our daily newsletter, our daily sales strategies, our daily tips, best practices, live video content from me, and then also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm maxed out of connections, but if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see all of our content. We're posting all of our content live all the time on LinkedIn, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get better at putting it on YouTube. It just takes longer to upload on YouTube. For some reason, LinkedIn and Facebook uploading content is so
Mm-hmm.
fast, and then trying to get it on YouTube is so slow.
Okay. I feel like it's the opposite for me. The YouTube, well, YouTube's not fast, but I feel like LinkedIn for me usually takes a bit. It's usually pretty slow. Anyways,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Brandon, you are the man. Thank you so much. That was awesome. A lot of information to unpack there for you, beautiful people listening. And yeah, man, thanks for joining.
Hey, David, thank you so much for having me. Humbled, grateful, and for all of you guys out there. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. You can do anything. There's nothing that you cannot do. Whatever someone else can't do, you can do. And, hopefully this episode helps you get there smarter, better, faster, easier. And thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it.